Hello.
Hello.
Hello. We are good.
Okay, good.
Switching over to the correct feed now. Yeah.
Sweet. Yeah.
Hello, virtual Bobby. Welcome back to part 2 of the stream.
Dos.
I think it's all kind of set up the way I want it, but like, you never know with this shit, I swear.
You never know. You never know.
You
I'll be
never
on
know.
camera in just a second. I'm just finishing eating. I don't
Well,
think the
I'll
internet
wait.
needs to see me eat.
I mean, you never know what the internet needs. It doesn't need. But yeah, I'm gonna go out on a limb here and say that they probably don't need to see you eat. Again from my deathbed, but hello friends, are you okay, mediocre? Oh no. I hope that's a joke.
Did you eat too much Applebee's?
That'll do it. I have not the best memories of Applebee's, but I know that on the Fact Podcast before that, did anything, or before that crashed, they had all worked at Applebee's before they made Marble Hornets, and so they had this running gag about Facklebees. I missed that. That was very dumb and fun. Apparently, Mediocre got their 5G implant yesterday, so.
Well, hopefully you'll be pandemic free, but 5G integrated. So it's a
Yeah.
good trade-off. Good trade-off. Hello, I have Cat with me. Cat is here.
Ooh, we love Cat.
He did move since an hour ago. He's just been sleeping.
He's been sleeping.
So he's not dead.
Applebee's is
I
pretty
swear.
awful. But the cat is very good, so that's all that matters, right?
Hey, I have fond memories of Applebee's going there slightly tipsy and having half-off apps. It's great.
That's fair. I imagine their food, if you're drunk, is actually pretty all right.
I mean, their food is just okay. Never get a steak from Applebee's. I learned that.
What happens with the steak from Applebee's?
It's just really chewy. You don't want your steak to be chewy.
No, you don't. I don't really want a rubber steak. That's not. I guess that's how they're saving money. Is they're making rubber steaks.
That's why you have cheap drinks. Get you drunk and eat the food regardless. Oh yeah, their mozzarella sticks are pretty good.
Yeah, pretty decent. I remember that much.
Oh,
So hey.
warm. People should still get vaccinated even if they already had COVID-19. Okay, good. And what's happening? Thank you, Twitter.
Hello, Tron Boomer. I'm not gonna make that mistake. I will probably invariably make that mistake again where I say tromboner, but like we're gonna. But like I'm gonna try my best.
What do you call? Oh, that's what you call them. You call them trombonists.
Trombonists? Is that what you call them?
Yeah, that's what you call. That's what you call trombone players. You call them trombonists.
Trombonists. Okay.
You have flute players are called flautists.
I know that much.
And then piano players are called pianists.
Yes,
you gotta really make sure you get the T in there.
I played oboe for a year, and they didn't have anywhere to put me in the orchestra, so they just sat me with the flautists. It was
we
very
had
weird.
some oboe players. It was like in our band we had clarinet players, and it was all just a bunch of clarinet players. Yeah, a lot of clarinet players. We had a few. I'm trying to think. I wasn't in band. I was in orchestra. Our orchestra and band were different.
Of course, right.
We had a lot of violinists, like 5 violists, and then like 12 cellists, and then like 3 bassists.
Like 12 cellists.
We had a lot of cello players. It was kind of ridiculous.
Oh, what are you gonna do?
And then we had at some point we had 5 bassists. And what do you do with 5 bass players?
You play a lot of roundabout.
But anyway, we're going off on a tangent.
We are already. We're right there. I do want to ask if you could read the land acknowledgement before we do intros and get started.
Sure. So here in Milwaukee, we have a little land acknowledgement, just acknowledging our Native American brethren. And here it is. So we acknowledge that in Milwaukee, we live and work on traditional Potawatomi, Ho-Chunk, and Menominee homelands along the southwest shores of Michigami, part of North America's largest system of freshwater lakes, where the Milwaukee, Menominee, and Kinnickinnick rivers meet, and the people of Wisconsin's sovereign Anishinaabe, Ho-Chunk, Menominee, Oneida, and Mohican nations remain present.
Thank you,
I
Morgan.
got hooked up on freshwater and not all of the Native American
You
names.
know, that happens when you're reading Paradise Lost too. You get so lost in Milton's prose sometimes that you read the word share and it comes out kier, and you're like, what the fuck?
Here.
So
So
pronunciations will trip you up on normal stuff.
the
Um,
last time we left, she was on her way to Ohio, and I glanced at the paranormal Discord, and it looks like nothing has come out since then, or has it?
well, so quickly, let's throw it in there. Hi, I'm Wren, master student UWM. This is
Oh, right.
Morgan in this corner. I think that's where it'll work. Yeah, go.
I'm somewhere.
You're here.
I'm Morgan. I'm a cultural anthropology master student.
Yes, and yes,
And my cat,
Jess,
Kimmy.
Kimmy. We make Kimmy an emote on the Twitch or something. But yeah, Jess has just disappeared.
Oh, good.
Yeah. I mean, it's been much the question of speculation, because the first couple days people were like, oh, you know, it takes a couple days to get settled somewhere, and then you know, a couple more days went by and everyone was like, oh, it's fine, and now we're a week into Jess saying I'll update you, and nothing. It's increasingly looking like something has happened, which is not terribly surprising. Which we'll get there today, but.
Well, she was going to Ohio to do stuff, right?
To help film the movie, yeah. And to do some of her own, the implication was that there was some of her own investigation was going to occur. We were going to get like a Jess on the ground sort of thing. But as you know, we have this noir figure lurking in the background. So Ohio might not be safe.
We had like 5 different ideas of who Noir was.
We did.
We were like, it's my brain just escaped me. It's one of the 2 boys. It's creepy cameraman. It's her sister.
It's her sister. Yeah. It's really hard to know. And I believe we ended with the prison episode, right? We ended there.
Yeah, they went into the prison. We got some nice toilet shots.
Yeah, there was a lot of toilet shots. Yeah. I'm trying to get, because I know where we are roughly in the timeline. I believe we are right here. Hold on. God damn it. Twitter just refreshed. Wait, hold on. Does that mean there was an update? I hope not. Let me check.
You go to your tweets and replies. I don't know how Twitter works.
Go to tweets and replies and see. I don't think there was an update, but weird instant. Yeah, it's been 10 days since you last posted.
Okay.
Let's get out of tweets and replies.
We also at the prison. We got to the prison where she could see her breath, and they were like, "Ooh, spooky." So we had some thoughts that they were messing with paranormal things in a very haphazard way, and that things happened.
They really weren't doing a very good job of, like, I think this is where we were at, right? We got in the prison episode. Here, let me switch the feeds. Yeah, so here's about where we're at.
Oh yeah, there was a prison Clementine.
Yes. Don't forget. Always remember prison Clementine. Very important. Would you eat? I mean, I have to ask. Would you eat the prison Clementine?
No.
No?
Because I don't even eat clementines when they're a little bit like just a little bit dry and they're just starting to go bad. I don't even touch those.
So you're not going to touch the one that's been sitting there for 2 years, or however long. I'm going to eat it. I would eat the prison Clementine. I'm a horrible person.
All of the ghosts of Clementine's past.
Yeah, the Clementine is Scrooge McDuck. I don't know why that's where my brain went. Anyway, yeah, I mean, the prison episode, I think for how long it is not super revealing, because we didn't get a lot of time to talk about it.
No, it's not really revealing. I think did we skip Shed?
We did not skip Shed. We're doing Shed next.
Okay.
But how should I say? It is interesting. I mean, I think we could take a moment to kind of reflect on it now before we get into new stuff. But, you know, in some ways, we're hitting the greatest hits of, like, Ghost Adventures, you know, with the prison. Here's a cool location. It's haunted. We got before that the, like, park thing, which, I mean, the location didn't matter that much. but the hanging
sort of.
Yeah.
And then we were like, wow, if this was, that's not a good look, guys. But for the prison episode, we got like the board where there's like a Nia, and we're like, oh, look, Mia.
And then
And,
some
like,
implications that the guard staff have like myths that they talk to each other about, which is interesting. I mean, it's not the first time that we've seen the show like dabble into like the lived histories of the people in Ohio, because Mary Talbert is obviously like supposed to be a myth. But yeah, I mean, it solidifies that much that like a lot of what they're investigating are kind of local Ohioan myths,
like tall tales and things.
Yeah.
And they also showed a lot of creepy chairs down hallways and some really obvious set dressing. I remember I want to tell a story, but we ran out of time. At my undergraduate university, we had a building that was at one point the gym of the campus that got completely gutted and then remade into the humanities building. I don't know why they did that, but they did that. But in the basement, the pool is still there, but it's basically like paved over, so you get pictures of people hanging out in the pool just underneath this building. And then alongside the pool is this long hallway with a singular bulb, and someone underneath the bulb has put a chair, and that's the hallway. It's just this long hallway with a chair and a bulb, and it's in the basement. So like I've seen it before because I had an in with an IT professional who could get access to basements of buildings. But it was like, why is this here? I don't like it.
Yeah, I wonder if somebody put that there just to fuck with people, or if it's there for like a reason.
I don't know, because it's like one of those spots like, oh, I can get into the basement of this building. I don't want to say what building, but it's it's the humanity building. Like, oh, I can get in the basement of the building to get to the pool and also this creepy chair hallway. I don't understand.
We had so in my undergrad, one of the buildings that I think this is pretty common, that dorms will be converted old buildings, and one of the buildings they had converted was a hospital, and that was what the dorm was. And so the morgue was still in the building, and it was being occupied by like IT's waste, essentially. Like it was nothing but fields of like pre Y2K computers. But it was like the other thing is the elevator would sometimes accidentally drop you in the basement. And so there was this myth that started developing about ghosts running the elevator, and that they died in the basement, and like who knows, but like that sort of shit sticks with you.
Man, I would not want to live in a hospital that got turned into a dorm room. I don't even like walking around the hospital on Milwaukee's campus has a hospital that is transitioning, in the process of transitioning into a academic building. There's parts of it. It's very clearly still a hospital, but parts of it are getting renovated to be more able to be a usable academic space. I don't like walking around there. It's very confusing. Why are hospitals so hard to walk around in?
They are really difficult. Also, you have to think about how many people died in the building that you're now doing whatever mundane thing you're doing.
But also, like, how many people have been born in that hospital? There's a lot of people. I actually was talking to someone in one of my classes. We were talking about the Norris Health Center, the Northwestern Center or something. It's something like that. It's something like that. And they're like, oh yeah, I was born in that hospital before it got bought by UWM. I'm like, that's weird, odd, strange. I don't know what hospital I was born in, so I don't have any connection to my hospital.
You don't say connected with the people who delivered. I'm joking. All right, so here's where we're at today. We're going to start with the suicide shed, which, as you can see, includes the Louis Vuitton logo. I mean,
Jeffree Star was here.
We really don't know what the fuck is up with that. By the way, it might just be some random tagging, but there's been a lot of like fanfare about this sigil. And
do we have some product placement in our ARG here?
Maybe Louis Vuitton is sponsoring the Paranormal Paranoids movie. Maybe the ghosts need to look really fashionable. Who knows?
I gotta have those bags, man.
Yeah. So I'm gonna boot up the Suicide Shed episode and all that. Let me check the audio. All right, here we're good.
The Paranormal Paranoids investigate the world beyond, because there are some things we can't explain. But sometimes the mysteries turn out to be a hoax, and other times they're just inside your brain.
summer of 1982, the
It's much
body of a
shorter.
16-year-old boy was found in a shed in these woods. He'd taken a dull razor blade to both of his wrists. The body was already decomposing in the heat by the time they found it. There was no note. Once word got out, local kids started using the shed as a place to drink, smoke, or other stuff, until another body turned up. 17-year-old overdosed on pills, another suicide ruling. For the next few decades, until as recently as 1998, there have been 6 recorded deaths in the shed, all of which were suicides. Since then, locals refer to it simply as the suicide shed.
No one's taking down the shed. Sorry.
I think it's up there, right?
I don't sing along. I scream. Metal cover of paranoid investigators.
You see
Win.
it?
Whoa, yeah.
Where? I don't see it. Oh, I think I see it. Oh, my God. Wow. Jesus.
What are the guys'
God.
names again? The guy on the camera is not Peter, right?
It is. David is on camera. Peter is your other guy there.
Okay.
Trying to get down a little bit so I can hear you.
Okay. Am I quiet?
No. It's just audio balancing.
Oh, okay. Okay. Tarp.
I don't know if that's sturdy. Take this.
Risking everything for the art.
Yeah. Do you think people still come? Yeah, definitely people still come here, right?
Why do you think that they, like, did it?
I feel like we're gonna get murdered.
Yeah.
Yeah, you get those tree shots. Very important.
We've established that tree shots are incredibly necessary.
We mean no disrespect by being here. We only wish to document what has become a location of legend for the people of Talmadge, Ohio. To those who've taken their lives in this shed, we wish you nothing but peace.
Spooky.
Yep, it is. It is spooky. It is kind of interesting, I think, looking at this again, that there, unlike the other two episodes, there's so much time without everybody talking.
Yeah. Wait, what did you... Sorry. What did you
It's
say?
like, it just seems like David's walking around almost alone during parts of that, which is a little weird in retrospect.
Well, it also is because there was B-roll shot of it in the daylight. Like they had, like at the beginning, they were like, "Here's this B-roll shot of the shed," and it seemed like it was in the daytime.
Mm-hmm.
So
It is kind of. It's also like it is the most local of local kind of stories, right? It's these kids in this one town, this little building. I mean, to that end, Virtual Bobby says in chat, I've been looking all over for this shed, but I can't find it. I don't think the actual location is relevant, though. And, you
it's
know,
it's probably one of those sheds that it's on someone's property. Like this could just be on
could be.
someone's random wooded property that's next to a shopping mall or something, because you could see there was lights out in the distance, and so it's not actually like known. It's just a random shed.
The only thing that it all bucks against that is there appears to be some audio of like a flagpole in the background.
Yes. Oh, 100% there's a flagpole in the background.
Yeah.
But that could also leave credence to it's right next to a shopping center or something that has a flagpole.
Yeah.
Because that sound is piercing and carries. But I also agree with Tavia memories. It's like imagine, you get to this lowest point and you end it all in the shed, and then some years later, an amateur joker comes in laughing and smiling, and why do you think they killed themselves? Yeah. Very maximum disrespect.
Yeah.
To ask, why do you think they did it? I wanted to give them the benefit of the doubt and be like, oh, maybe you were asking about why kids come out here and like tag the place up and like do drugs and things, but also it seems like she was talking about the ending it.
Yeah.
People.
Yeah, it's
Not a good
local folklore that they're like also not taking seriously, which is in its own way kind of interesting, right? Because for Peter at least, it's very clear that this is like a money-making venture for him. So
Yeah.
there's some level of like, we aren't going to take this seriously, and also let's make some big bucks off of it.
Yeah. It kind of seems like Riley is the one that takes it the most seriously. And you can tell there's like kind of a difference between the Mary Talbert stuff, where, she's kind of joking around a little bit more and being like, oh, look over there, look over here, and then like when she tells the story, she's a little bit serious, but kind of still like at the end of it, she's like, and now we're gonna leave and make jokes about you getting your shoe stuck in the mud, sort of thing. Whereas this one, she's kind of more seriously like, we don't mean any disrespect. Please, we just want you to rest in peace. We're just here documenting local history. So she seems to be a little bit more respectful in
And
that
I wonder
way.
if it's
Not much, but a little
because
bit.
of what they caught in the footage during the Suicide Shed video, or not Suicide Shed, during the Mary Talbert video, because they like clearly recognize that, and I would not be surprised, given some things that happened later, if Riley was like, oh shit, we fucked this up,
Or because she's getting these dreams of evil spirit trapping her and stuff. So also the prison ghost that she was like, oh, you guys see that? Hey, where is the entrance?
Oh, are you new to this ARG, Tavia?
Where is the entrance?
It's like, to the loop, because I'm
to
clearly not in it. Actually, this is a good time for us to stop and do a couple things, I guess. One is I want to plug the Vehemence Discord server, and if one of the Vehemence people wants to put their fucking
search paranormal, and here I am. Well, hello.
Hey, welcome to our stream. We appreciate having you. Yeah, so what we're doing today is we're looking through an ARG called Paranormal Paranoids that is being made by Chris Stuckman and others. There's a movie possibly tied into this. We think this is our part 2 of our stream, so this is the second half of the content that is currently out there. If you're interested in getting involved, and we're gonna keep going through this, obviously it's some really cool stuff, but if you're interested in getting involved with the ARG and seeing the whole thing from start to finish, then jump into the Vehemence Discord server and check out Just the Paranoid on YouTube and Just the Paranoid on Twitter.
And you can look around and see what's going on. Where we are currently is a girl named Jess found her old about missing ghosts for an upcoming movie about missing ghost hunters. So a girl had a bunch of her stuff in a box, and she found out these paranormals. No, Paranormal
Either
Paranoids,
way, really.
and that she had watched previously, and she was like, "Oh, hey, these guys were cool, but they totally disappeared. What happened?" And so she's uncovered some videos from her laptop, CDs, laptop and CDs, and then there's also this guy on Twitter named Noir
Mhm.
who is like spoopy and sending very cryptic messages about, "Oh, I know what's happening," kind of, sort of. And so Jess is trying to figure out what happened to these guys, and this is one of their episodes that we watched. So
Yeah, that's a pretty solid recap,
yeah,
I think, up to this point.
spooky things are happening.
Spooky things are happening. What is your take on the actually, Tavia, I see your message there. You'd be surprised what some people will do in ARGs. So I do some work at an escape room, and we had one of the ones that's themed after a bomb, and somebody called the bomb squad. I won't go into too many details about it, but people take this sort of immersive reality thing too seriously all the time. Not enough for it to be like a problem, but enough of it that creators have to be somewhat aware of it. Obviously, the pinnacle of this is the Slender Man killings that happened the Slender Man killing that happened in Wisconsin.
I don't know
10
if
years
that
ago or
was
something.
because of the ARG, or if there was the thing with the Slenderman stabbing. It's kind of very like a folktale taken too far sort of idea, but I can understand if there was an ARG involved, it would kind of suck them into that reality.
Yeah, I mean it's likely a mixture of, enough content that's being made saying, hey, this is real, hey, this is real, hey, this is real, even if everybody is kind of clued into this isn't real, and some prior history that makes individual people more likely to take immersive reality experiences at their face.
And this is, I guess I don't know how familiar Tavia is with ARGs, but ARGs are augmented reality games.
Alternate reality games.
Alternate reality games. So you pick up pieces on Twitter, and then there's some things on YouTube, and then you can pick up some stuff on like Reddit and other like little bits and bobs, and sometimes websites are made of it. So it's kind of like an escape room, except on the internet, where you're trying to pick up clues and find things and grab other things. And so that's what ARG is, bits and pieces of clues that you pick up throughout the internet to play the game and such. Yeah, so Marble Hornets. So yeah, you're
Marble
somewhat
Hornets. Yeah, so you're
familiar
clued
with
in.
the ARG.
You know exactly what we're talking about. And with what you're saying about the escape room sort of stuff, not to divert too much, but geocaching is a common ARG mechanic. So there is a lot of like small exploration stuff if you happen to be in the area of one of these games that can be played. There's also just other puzzles experiences that are like ARGs or like escape rooms that thrive off of that stuff. I also wish that a lot of stuff in escape rooms was more tactile and less just spin this dial and put that in. But that's another stream. We could do an escape room stream sometime. That'd be fun. Talk about escape rooms.
It's kind of like a lowest. That's a lowest common denominator problem, I think. You want to make sure that the safe room is fun and enjoyable for a lot of people, and everyone's skill levels are different. So like tactile puzzles might not work as well as just figuring it out and then turning the dial. But anyway, let's continue on.
Yes, let's continue looking at the Paranormal Paranoids. And also
Evan McKellen's The Keeper ARG.
I'm not familiar with that one, but you can't know every game in fucking existence, unfortunately, unless you're Michael Anderson, I guess. Just because he has to keep track of so many of them. But and Virtual Bobby posted the fictional police number, which I've called and left a message, but I figure once we get to that point, Morgan, if you want to call and leave a message, you could. Let's continue onward though. So
we have the Suicide Shed.
We have the Suicide Shed. I don't know what to make of the Louis Vuitton logo. Clearly it's important, but it might just be a tag. It's important enough that they thought we're going to show it on camera 4 times,
Yeah. Well, I think it's also, if they're making quote unquote art, like, oh, look at this, the juxtaposition of this and that, all that kind of stuff. So
yeah. So we get after that the Lincoln Elementary School episode. This happens pretty much like there's not really a delay per se, because these are coming, remember, from Jess's own archives. This one I will give a little bit of a content warning for, although I'm not exactly sure how to say a content warning for spooky thing. I guess graphic violence is what I would say is probably the closest to what you're about to see.
Okay.
It's not terrible. It's very creepypasta tier. It's a little shocking.
Mm-hmm.
So let's do the 8-minute Lincoln Elementary School episode.
Keeper was an unlockable character in the Binding of Isaac video game. Oh, the game was bugged, and a bunch of ARG shenanigans ensued before the developers to fix it. That's really neat. It's kind of getting ARG and mixing with the game. That's neat. Peter.
Laura, David, Riley, the paranormal paranoids, the paranormal paranoids, the paranormal paranoids.
We did actually start trying to figure out where all those like sci-fi shots are coming from. So if you have any ideas about those, anybody in chat or Morgan,
So we
feel free to
made it.
interject.
Lincoln Elementary. This school has an incredible haunted history, dating all the way back to 1976. One Monday morning, the teachers arrived to find the hallways and classrooms filthy. They hadn't been cleaned over the
I'm
weekend
listening.
at all. They tried getting in touch with the janitor, but he didn't answer his phone. When the staff realized they'd have to quickly do some cleaning of the school before the children arrived, they went to the janitor's closet for supplies. That's when they found him. The janitor's body was crumpled in the corner of the closet. Every bone in his body was broken. His mop was shoved so far down his throat, the strings were hanging out of his mouth. There was no sign of a struggle, no forced entry into the school, no arrests made. Ever since then, the school has gone through an average of 5 custodians a year. They'd get to work and find rooms already cleaned. The janitor's closet wouldn't open no matter how hard they tried. And sometimes, after they cleaned a room, they'd find it trashed moments later, even though they were alone in the building. Generations of kids since then have made him a legend.
A nice
But
poopy
is the legend true? Did the Lincoln Elementary janitor really die in such a grotesque and unexplainable way? Or is everyone just having a bit of fun? I totally did this when I was a kid.
I had
the raw
so much arm strength.
of
I
childhood.
don't have it anymore.
Ooh.
Right, I like
Try to pick your feet up a little bit.
Oh. Yeah, this is tiring. Okay, hold on. I think I can get on top of it. I used to be able to do that.
Where's your Wi-Fi?
Boo.
So professional.
No way, what?
Oh, God. I don't know. Should we?
Let's add breaking and entering to these paranormal paranoids.
Ah, shit.
David, what do you think?
I don't know.
I would too would be paranoid if I was breaking the law.
Breaking the law.
Yeah, I think it's worth mentioning actually that like in universe, this isn't an abandoned building for them. This is just a fucking like surreal school.
Yeah. Yeah. Of course, there's a lot of YouTubers who've done that, where they're breaking the law and then get.
Seeing as this would have been shot in like 2008, I doubt anybody would have done anything to them about it.
Oh yeah, because it probably wouldn't be gotten.
This way.
You sure?
Yeah.
But out of universe, so in the real world, is this a abandoned building?
No, this building is still in use, although it is not a school.
Oh, is it like a community center?
After you.
Gross.
Okay, if you could pause it for a second, I have to just.
Yeah,
Eli
I can
needs
pause
to
it for a
do something
sec.
real quick.
I'm gonna look at this door while you're handling that, because I hadn't noticed that there's some shit written on it. Although I'm not really sure whether it will amount to anything. I doubt it, but you never know. I have another Mia. Where is this thing? There it is. I'm not really sure how much it might be too fuzzy to make out. Actually, hold on. We do have. What's that say? 92 to. $92 to something. I mean, in all likelihood, it's not anything. Oh, okay, cool. It has been analyzed a lot. Awesome. I didn't realize Bobby had some pictures. That's fantastic. I guess I must have missed that in the Discord. Bobby is a god, and I just want to like say that on stream so that we're all aware that Bobby is insane. And if for whatever reason I ever get the opportunity to get Bobby a whole cake, I will. Legend indeed. Absolutely a legend.
Who's the legend?
Bobby. Apparently this door we have a high-res photo of because Bobby's are gone there. So.
Wow.
Yeah,
Nice.
and we'll check that out in the Discord.
He's close to everything. I presume Bobby's in Ohio.
Yeah.
A good old Midwestern person.
All right.
I'm not going to gender you. I'm just going to call you a person.
I'm going to start this up again.
They love their creepy crawlways.
I dare you to go inside it.
No, I don't. Hell no. You can't.
Why do you think so much? You want me to go first?
Yes, you go.
Oh, Jesus Christ, Riley. Close that. I'm gonna scare you to death.
You just close that, right?
Oh, shit.
Is that the jump scare?
Are you a flashlight, bro?
It's a
Wow,
part.
you say. What a terrifying state.
Hello? Why is the machine running?
No.
I don't know how much Foley work they've done. Unfortunate lag tonight. Bad. Sorry, watchers. She's suspiciously cool.
What was that? Riley, what was that? Riley, don't go out by yourself, Riley. Come on. Chill. Where did that come? I don't know.
You work correctly, Wren. David would be dying.
I don't fucking know.
Yeah, I can't say I know what to call that, but I do know that it's pretty fucking crazy.
It is.
You set that shit up. I swear to fucking God, you set that shit up.
I could not have done that if I fucking tried, dude. Holy shit.
Oh my God.
Oh, that was wild.
kidding me? What's wrong with you?
Why are you guys just standing next
You
to
ready?
it?
Yeah,
Eat yourself.
I'm fine.
All right.
Ready?
Oh my gosh.
Let's.
Aren't you glad we fucking stayed now? Oh,
Listen, that's what we're here for.
dude.
Fucking A, man. Fucking A.
That's. Oh. I can't believe it.
That's the producer. He's had a long night.
Jeez.
Yeah. That's on par. Yeah, I would say that one fucks with me. Like none of the other stuff that has been shown so far will like got me. But the first time I watched that, I was not expecting the show to escalate to. Well, I think first the image of the janitor, even blurred out, is like it's a lot to digest. And then, then you actually see the kind of moving corpse. And I know they're not doing much, like, as far as it's a low resolution camera, it's low light, it's not hard to make that, like, you don't need a lot of costuming to make that look the way it looks. But, like, on the same time, it's still really freaky because your brain still associates with the fucking janitor with a mop in his mouth. Ugh. It just gets under my skin.
Yeah.
I'm glad David wasn't here for that one. David would
Yeah,
have to tune out.
David would have yeeted himself into oblivion.
Yeah, that would have been
I'm gone.
the end of David, yeah.
Never the end of David.
And I mean, okay, cool. They broke and entered and something was like, yeah, this is kind of an old horror story, right? You go somewhere where you don't belong, you get pushed out. But I still think it's interesting because it fits the build up that we've been kind of dealing with up to this point, which is like, how do I put it? These are all tiny kind of local legends that for some reason Riley is able to tap into, or Riley is able to, like, there's some connection going on here between the paranoids and being able to see and engage with these things, or the media and being able to see and engage with these things. But it is interesting because, like, they could have picked some sort of grand, like, asylum or something, and maybe that would come up later. But, like, for the most part, with the exception of the prison episode, even in the prison episode, these are all very small myths,
Yeah. And it's very obvious. Is this series complete? I don't think so. I don't think this
No.
ARG's finished yet.
I would describe this as being done with the first act, essentially. Like, that's why we're doing these streams right now, actually, is because we ended up in a perfect position where Jess had just gone to Ohio, and we kind of viewed that as, like, the start of the next part of the story. And so I was like, now's the great time to do an analysis stream, to kind of do a recap stream and talk about these things.
That's what we doing.
Yeah.
That's what we doing. So, and I noticed that Riley again was the most spooked out of everyone. And again, you have the cameraman focusing exclusively really on her, on Riley, and everyone else is just kind of in the background talking and things and such, and then and such and such and such and so and so.
It's really, like, hard to I kind of struggle in some ways to put a critical lens to it, but there's an intersection going on here between, like, nostalgia and local legends, and and something about, like, I don't know exactly where the horror in that is coming from, but there's something uncanny about these two things when placed together,
Yeah. So I don't feel like they would have freeze framed for several seconds to show you the homeless guy, or if it were anything significant, because people are going to overanalyze that and they know that, so it's not plot relevant. It serves some other purpose.
Yeah, there is always the possibility.
Some galaxy brain going on there.
There's always some sort of possibility that, and I'll go back to that shot so we can have a look at it. That, like, there is what's going on here is very Scooby-Doo at the end of it all. There's something fake moving through these pieces, and that we're supposed to understand that as an audience. But I mean, while I'm open to that reading personally, I just don't. I think the show is taking the paranormal element very seriously, and so I have a hard time making that my primary thought on the matter. But let's look at it, because you make a good point about that shot regardless, Tavia, in the sense that, like, you're right. Maybe there's something else to see there, and we're just not looking at it yet. Let me pull it up, because it is. So I guess we don't really see it much more clearly than this, right? This is really the shot. Thing is, it's so grainy, because the camera quality is they've actually chosen a realistic camcorder to do this on. But you know, we've had some like luck brightening images, specifically Yankee White, who's kind of a legend. I think that's the handle. Has had some luck brightening images in this particular ARG to get more out of them. So maybe there is something else going on here on this back shelf or something, but like, it does look like his mouth is like gaped open though, which is interesting. I don't know. What do you think?
I don't know. I do agree that they wouldn't have freeze framed if perhaps you're intended to get. I think I agree with that. A good image of that in your memory for later, because you know, if it plays into, you know, just Riley has been seeing ghost images and like getting dreams and things. So if it plays into that, it's kind of important to see that, to understand that.
Yeah. It's also a relatively simple creature design, you know, because it really is just a guy with a mop shoved down his mouth.
It literally is just a homeless man.
Well, that's the other reading of it, right? That like the horror that's going on in this particular thing has more to do with like people being in a space that you don't expect them to be in, and less in class, and less to do with actual mop shenanigans. Because it is a janitor, and that has a very like class-loaded image.
Mop shenanigans.
Oh, you know. What else are you gonna call it? I guess murder. That would be the operative term.
Murder.
But
murder.
I mean, all of these. I guess that's another theme that's kind of running through this that we haven't really. Oh my god, that we haven't really talked about, which is who is committing suicide. Who are these people who are dying in Ohio? And
and why don't they really, like, besides from Mary Talbert, none of them really get a name. Like, some of them go like, oh, this prisoner self-immolated or got set on fire.
They're prisoners, janitors.
These people, there's, you know, these boys, these teen boys who committed suicide. I don't know.
And they're drug addicts.
Kind of went suicide, and there's drug addicts. There's not a lot of, there's tall tales, but there's not, like, besides Mary Talbert, no one gets a name.
Yeah.
So I feel like Mary Talbert's important in that way. And then my cat is hanging out on his pillow. Look at him.
But it is interesting that you pick things like they pick things that, yeah, I mean, maybe this is more indicative of kind of the whole tradition of horror and the traditions of tall tales and how taboos and social taboos get written into hauntings. But like, I mean, very strictly speaking, these are all people who, for whatever reason, society would view as kind of underclass, right? They're drug addicts, they're prisoners, they're janitors. And it's a bunch of people going in and kind of disrespecting their position again. Yeah.
Yeah. Like, why are you doing this?
It's interesting. I don't know if I know what to do with that yet, but it does feel important, doesn't it?
It does. I got stuck. I was looking at the vehemence, the Discord discussion 2. I don't know where discussion 1 went, but discussion 2 in the Paranormals is talking about, they posted, Chris Stuckman posted a video talking about the making of his first video.
Oh yeah,
so
yeah.
I was looking at the discussion on that, but
yeah, I watched that actually. It's a lot of him talking about basically emulation and how hard it really is to like make a film work and stuff like that. And it is honestly a really interesting little video. But I don't remember seeing anything personally that made me go, oh, the paranormal.
I'm looking at his set. This is gonna be a stretch. But last time we were looking at the shelves and we were like, what is that logo on the bottom?
Yeah.
I'm seeing the white Paramount logo. That looks very similar to a lot, and it's a VHS tape, so it's thick.
That could be it. It could be.
My brain just was like, let me just look at his set. That's a lot of VHS tapes. Those are a lot of white logos. I don't think it's an exact match, but
hard to know.
Maybe my brain went like, we were thinking about that last time.
And it's never like, I don't know. The other thing that gets me about this is it's always violent ends. To these people.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it's
None
not
of them just kind of like when I missed the part. Oh, you have the other kitty. It's never like this guy. I mean, a lot of ghost stories. There's no non-violent ghost story.
Right, but I don't think everything's not always murder and suicide. There are other nuances in there, and I feel, or there are creatures or hauntings that come from beyond our world.
Yeah, and when they're talking about the Lincoln Elementary School, I missed the part where the janitor died and got killed or committed suicide or something, because Eli distracted me. But when they were just like, yeah, they leave the room and then it gets trashed and then come back, I'm like, well, that's some classic spookiness right there, like things getting trashed and that kind of stuff. And I was like, yeah, that's great, like some classic. Let's go see what the ghost is doing. Casper, shake my head. But then I was like, oh, and they're talking about the janitor dying horrifically. Okay, never mind.
The self-immolation is maybe like the one, or the spontaneous combustion is maybe like the one. What was it, self-immolation or spontaneous combustion? Because those are two different things.
I think self-immolation.
Self-immolation. So the guy set himself on fire to kill himself. Yeah. So I mean, these are like spontaneous combustion, another opportunity, another as Dr. Campbell would say, what are they called? Counterfactual. Another indication where something could have been different but wasn't. Yeah. So it really is. It's not just a legacy of underclass individuals in Ohio, but a legacy of underclass individuals who are meeting violent ends in Ohio. And that's an interesting thing to have intersected with nostalgia for old technology.
Yeah, well, I guess because 2008 is such a strange... It's really easy to have nostalgia, even for things that were quite recent.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I have nostalgia for, like, I don't know, flip phones or like my slide phone that I had before my 3G, my iPhone 3G.
Mm-hmm.
And that was like a decade ago. Like, that's not really something to be nostalgic about. I don't know why I just went fucking idiot on that, but so it's like...
You're Canadian now, damn it. When did this happen? You moved to Canada and didn't tell me?
I lived in the UP for 5 years. You get that accent. But yeah, like I think it's really easy to be nostalgic for a lot of the 2000s because things change so rapidly. Like, even when someone goes, YouTube in 2013, and you're like, yeah, I remember YouTube in 2012. What a nice world we lived in on YouTube in 2012. I don't even remember what I was doing on YouTube in 2012. I just remember I was there. I remember like watching Smosh in 2008. So I have nostalgic for like 2000. Oh, I never watched Knowing Orange. I never stooped that low. But I was watching like Smosh, and I did watch a little bit of Shane Dawson. I remember seeing him or being shown him. But like, people have nostalgia for that because it's such a rapidly changing media landscape we're in right now.
Lockhart was the name of the prisoner who set himself on fire. Interesting. It's probably worth noting. Yeah, I mean, I certainly there's, I think, some idea going on that like that we forget a substantial amount of like what is recorded content, and that only by going back and revealing that stuff can we kind of undermine our own nostalgia and see more of the truth. Yeah. But I mean, the other part of this is that I don't think that's really all that's going on here, in part because there's enough questions about what is going on that makes the whole situation way more chaotic than just saying like, recorded content isn't the way you remember it, kids,
Mm-hmm. Well, it's even like I definitely think this is a story not just about, hey, paranoids and be careful. I presume spooky things happen. Spooky things happen. They disappear. It's a story. It's a like cautionary tale of, hey, don't piss off the ghosts that you're paranormal investigating.
Which, good idea.
But good idea. But also, this kind of harkens back to the idea that everything is saved on the internet is incorrect. It's not correct. Um,
Yeah, there can be no complete archive of, and that's
there's
maybe
no
that's what it
complete
is,
archive
right?
of YouTube. You can be really nostalgic for certain content, but content creators go through and cull their whole libraries all the time. So you're like, I remember really liking this thing. Oh, it's gone forever, and nobody re-uploaded it, so it's gone forever. Like all the Blip TV stuff, all the VidMe stuff. Like, if you didn't save it from there, it's gone.
Right.
So that's what happens when like a YouTube channel gets lost, or when YouTube shuts down a channel, and the channel creator hadn't archived that stuff. It's gone. It's
I'm
gone
thinking
forever.
about
But that's the same
Deserto,
thing with
thanks.
like with websites and stuff too. It's like when AOL Music went down, what went with it?
Yeah.
Like,
But
but
I
that's why
mean,
the Internet Archive exists. But you still have to have people going to places to archive things. It's tricky.
but it also like fuck. I mean, it's there's something about Desert. I love Deserto's section on mapping and like the difference between walking and mapping. And like to break this down for the audience who maybe hasn't read The Practice of Everyday Life, the concept is essentially that to map something is to set it into a sort of rigidity that is defined by things like place names, things like the correct way to engage with things, the social norms that are ingrained into the institution of that space.
It concretizes it.
Yeah.
Makes it concrete.
And then, but to walk through that, the kind of flexibility that is engaged with that allows for things like oral histories to occur, things that are not necessarily strictly speaking part of the institution, or are part of things that are, more intensely personal or more intensely, I guess you would say culturally fluid. That's like the quick breakdown of something that's pretty complicated. But what's interesting, I think, is that looking back on that section, Deserto is very like absolutist about the difference between walking and mapping. Like, they are opposites, and they do opposite things, which I realize is kind of a problem with Deserto in general, is that there's a lot of small binaries that get created that aren't maybe as helpful or as rigid.
Yeah.
But, like, here, if we take this ARG as being something about going back through a map and realizing that, that not just that it's kind of a procedure for forgetting the important things you find through walking, but that the map itself is incomplete in some meaningful way.
Yeah.
That's interesting.
Then definitely. And I have heard something about tromboner. Oh, I did it.
Got it.
What YouTube is doing with unlisted videos. I believe they're making them. They're doing something. They're keeping them on the platform, but they're not allowing them to actually be visible. Like they're making them all private. I think. Like like no one can get to them.
That's going to do some stupid things to the ARG community.
Yes.
Yeah, I hadn't heard about that.
Making them private, yeah. And I believe that if creators opt in or opt out of that, they can. It's just everything is getting auto-privated before 2017. But if you go back through and say, no, I want these uploaded or stayed up, it messes with all of the choose your own adventures as well. First, annotations. When annotations got deleted, it messed with all the choose your own adventures to the point where I remember one of the YouTubers that I watch, Ashens, made a Go Finding My Couch video, which is just a bunch of collaborations with people in his MCN. But you had to click through different videos and annotations to get to.
It was a cool idea.
Couch.
Annotations were great.
Yeah. But then they got rid of annotations, and so he just re-uploaded it and said, here's all of it. Here's the actual path you were supposed to take. I can't do anything to fix it in the way that it's supposed to work, so I'm just want the content out there.
Well, now...
And I can imagine for unlisted videos, that's going to get even more complicated, because when they were like, oh, here's video links of unlisted videos.
And here's the thing, is that, like, that what they're doing then, by proxy, is making Choose Your Own Adventures premium content. I love Markiplier's, what is it called? The Heist with Markiplier. It's great. But what it is the only choose your own adventure on YouTube that will not be touched by any of these changes. And that makes it kind of an elite piece of content, right? And maybe unless there's other like YouTube Red original choose your own adventures, which if there are great, please send them to me. I love them.
But there is an understanding that creators can go in and re-unlist them. Like, they're not forcing creators to do this. However, it's an automatic thing that you have to opt out of, which is pretty much forcing you to do something.
Yeah,
when it comes to, especially with creators who have decade worth of content, like a lot of our modern day creators haven't been around since 2011, but there's still a lot of people who have been around since 2017 at least. So it's like, hey, all your unlisted videos, they're just going to be private. It's like, okay, well, now I have to think, and there's going to be a lot of like apology videos or things explaining drama that are like, I've unlisted that first video, and you're never going to see it again.
Yep.
Because it's
gonna be
but anyway,
a mess.
it's going to be a mess.
I hadn't even thought about the drama implications, but that's...
I've unlisted. I'm an anthropology person. I have to check my orgs thing. Yeah. Did we break it? Well, I can tell you who broke it. YouTube broke it.
YouTube breaks everything.
There's your answer to your username. Did we break it?
Morgan, we did an informative.
Yeah. So they do this school episode. They have the creepy man. What's after this?
Okay. Yes. Let's back to the ARG. So
we get
these big uploads, and these are really striking uploads. I think. And then, God, I mean, so we get this, which I think that Jess responds to or retweets. Yeah, she says, "Wow, I didn't see this could be one of the Paranormal Paranoids members' shadows," which is this little silhouette back here. Like I said, image brightening has been kind of a consistent thing in this ARG that's helped us get places.
Yeah, definitely.
Other than that, there's not necessarily like... Let me make sure I'm on the right screen, because sometimes I forget to flip the feeds. We don't really get anywhere new until Noir posts these videos. Well, there are a lot of them. But luckily, they've all been compiled by Jess, as presumably, on the account into 2 videos. And in those 2 videos, it does become very clear that we are missing a section of the content. But I would say these are probably from like a just straight exposition level, the most important videos in the series. So without further ado, let's watch. Riley talks about the man in the window, and Riley and Peter talk about Shelby Oaks. We'll do them obviously one break, one, and we'll go. So
now, pausing for a second.
Yeah.
So Shelby Oaks.
Yes.
Was the gas station video, right? Was from Shelby Oaks? No.
There is no Shelby Oaks video yet. Shelby Oaks
But there was the security camera after Shelby Oaks or something,
yes.
Right?
The security camera is from Helltown, which they agreed to go to at some point on fan request. Shelby Oaks is a place that they had been planning on going to, that Riley had some hand in picking.
Oh, right.
Yeah.
Right, okay. I knew it had come up previously.
We still, as far as I know, and Vehemence might be more on top of this than I am, we still don't really know exactly what is meant by Shelby Oaks. We just have some guesses. And none of them are strong enough that I would feel comfortable talking about them on a stream. I'd have to issue a correction almost immediately, I'm sure. Which, by the way, this special series is eventually going to turn to a show called the Ludic Society that I'm kind of building up to. And that I will have a Twitter account for, where we issue corrections for all the shit we get wrong. Because I cannot tell you how many times I say something about an ARG on stream and I'm fucking wrong. There's too much to keep track of, really.
Yeah,
we don't exactly know. Trombone makes a really good point. We don't know exactly when the gas station footage really exists in the timeline. My take on it is that it takes place after Riley's last message, but that's because we do not see Riley in the footage. It is also technically possible that she's just in the bathroom.
That's fair.
But
or she's in getting snacks.
Yeah,
like
but
any good road
the thing we also know, and we don't know how much this lines up with the in-universe thing, is that gas station is not a real gas station. It is a part of a museum that is in Helltown. So we don't actually know. Like, it is possible that they're treating it as a real gas station, but it's also possible, hence the security camera footage, but it's also possible that they're treating it as the museum it is, and therefore it wouldn't make any sense for Jess to not, or not Jess, sorry, Riley to be there. It's really hard to know.
That's true. And it could be a security camera footage in
Are
a
they wearing
museum.
the same clothes in the Mary Talbert episode in the gas station? Because I didn't catch that. That might be my fault for not realizing.
Well,
I believe
let's
it.
go look real quick at
Like
that.
I said, I say wrong shit on these streams all the time because I think I understand something and I really don't. So it totally... Yeah, that's why we need a Twitter account to just make corrections. I mean, I guarantee you, maybe I'm just waxing to kind of give myself some space here, but try running a stream where you comprehensively talk about an ARG without editing, and I guarantee you'll fuck some shit up. The clothes were kind of hard to tell. The outerwear, like jackets and stuff, are usually reworn. So, yeah, I mean, I know that
Lauren always has the black poofy jacket.
Yeah, I know that in Video Game High School, Freddie W. and others were very careful to make sure that every individual's gun was very strictly speaking for them, so that every time, no matter where you saw that character from, if they had their gun on them, you'd know exactly who they were immediately. Those things become iconic. So it's not, from like a filmmaking perspective, it makes sense to have certain jackets be iconic in the same way.
I remember Video Game High School. I don't think I watched season 2, but I watched season 1. I remember liking Freddie Wong. His brother shows up in places, and I'm like, I know who you are.
Yeah, Jimmy.
Because Freddie Wong doesn't show up in a lot of places, but Jimmy shows up, and I'm like, oh, look, I know you. And sometimes the other, he shows up as well. So
yeah, they're cool. I still like Rocket Jump a lot.
Cool. Oh, yeah.
And they made some good stuff.
Oh, yeah. I remember they were in a Tomska video, and I was like, I know you guys. Yeah.
All right, let's do it.
Paranormal. Riley talks about the man in the window. Who is the man in the window?
For like a long time, like years, would have the same dream of see this man in my window, and I just feel trapped in this room.
Oh, right, this was her dream.
And it's I mean, it's weird, it's crazy, but like I saw like images of like the school and the prison and these numbers and
wait, after the fact or before?
No, like when I was 13.
What?
I know it sounds stupid. I know it sounds, I don't even know, but...
You're saying you saw those places in your dreams when you were 13? And...
No, don't say it.
No, I mean, I believe you. Don't think that I don't believe you.
This isn't going on the channel.
No, it's not going on the fucking channel. Just don't pay any mind to that. It's fine. I would never put this on the channel.
So that's the first clip.
So Spoopy Man in the window is connected to all of them. And the numbers.
The numbers are the big thing. Do you have any idea? Like you have just as much idea about this as I do at this point. Do you have any fucking idea what the numbers mean?
No, I don't.
Yeah, I also, because she says it, I mean, I'm not the only one who reads that and sees her and Peter talking, and like when she says the numbers, there's like this implicit Peter knows what Riley's talking about going on.
Yeah, so it could be, so that's why it brings in question of we don't have everything, so we don't know. Maybe it's the price of a Louis Vuitton bag. I'm sorry. But no, I have no idea.
Riley, we have to get the Louis Vuitton. It's important. It's important. In 10 years, you're going to need it. This is the price plus inflation.
Oh,
we have
man.
to adjust for inflation, Riley.
I have I don't think we've seen any numbers or anything.
I don't think so either.
I mean, if we can, the whole thing is a commentary on late stage capitalism. Yeah, 100. I'm down with it.
Isn't everything at this point a commentary on late stage capitalism?
We're stuck in the bubble of late stage capitalism, so we're stuck reproducing and reifying late stage capitalism.
Yeah, this is serious
Well, yeah,
fun
I don't
where
know
we
about
as grad students only talk about late stage capitalism. That would be on brand for graduate students at any university, really.
Talking about Karl Marx and late stage capitalism.
Yeah.
Oh.
Drinking too many lattes, making
So-
no progress on our dissertations.
But anyway. Yeah, I don't know about the numbers. I feel like they could, if they were existing, they might be from like the prison episode, because they showed the board.
Mm.
So maybe there's some numbers on that or something. But then again, they didn't point it out in the videos. So I feel like it's missing. I feel like we don't know what
the numbers are. Yeah, I feel the same way. I wonder if it has to do. Well, that's the thing, is we don't know if they ever actually make it to, like, if Riley makes it to Shelby Oaks is kind of unclear. So it's
well,
also,
she's the one that's like, we need to go to Shelby Oaks. It would make sense that it's like a, hey, it's from her dreams, because she's the one that thought about the school and the prison stuff. So
yeah, I mean, that seems to be the implication, right? That like that either. Well, either she just like is like sitting there the whole time going, "This is weird. I feel like I've seen this before," which is totally possible. Or
well, that's definitely like a deja vu. I've been in this place before.
higher
Sort
on
of
the
fate.
streets. I know it's my time. Yeah.
Because sometimes, like in the school episode or in the prison episode, you can see that she's just like staring off and is very spooked. And you're like, why are you so spooked? There's just a bunch of flaking white lead paint and toilets. And besides from the cold air
Yeah.
spookiness at the end, that is actual like something. But you can see maybe it's a bunch of deja vu. Like, I saw this before. So
Yeah, it's hard to know from this alone whether or not she helped very distinctly plan them going there because of the dreams, or if the dreams and the deja vu are just kind of hitting her all at once. But like there seems to, like, I agree that the implication here seems to be she is genuinely clairvoyant in some meaningful way.
Yeah, well, because like she draws a creepy picture of someone, and that's like the man. It can, now that I'm thinking back on it, that's the man in the window.
Yeah.
Because when Mia did the weird "let me film you," drawing a creepy
Everybody's
picture,
filming
she's
Riley
like,
without her consent. What the fuck?
and Riley's like, "Oh, this is the guy that I see in my dreams, and he's weird, and I always feel trapped when I see him." Sort of like that's what she said in that. So, but yeah. What's the
Yes.
next one?
What is the next one? So the next one is 8 minutes of them talking to each other. So
Okay.
let's get through it.
And that definitely, I will say one thing. It definitely looked like Peter was like, "Please sit in this chair, and let's have an intervention." She calls it drawing a woman. Okay.
Oh, that's a good point.
Maybe.
So now, yeah, so there have to be at least two figures then. There's the woman in her dreams, and there's also then that's really interesting. This is the other thing about this damn ARG that like blows my mind. Is that there are so many fucking entities that it is genuinely really hard to figure out what entity is particularly evil and relentless towards these people. It's like I said, they're so disrespectful to so many, but also Riley is so associated with so many of these ideas that it's really hard to pin anything down. Let's go ahead and play the video though.
Yes. But one thing, I didn't get to say my thing.
Oh yeah.
She was obviously clearly sat down, and then Peter sat next to her intervention style and went, "Tell me about the dreams." Like, what is this setup?
Yeah.
Like, why? Like, don't film me. He's like, "No, let me set up this tripod, and then you go sit over there. Let me frame this correctly, and then I'm gonna sit here. Tell me about the dream."
Unfiction rules,
It's very staged, and I don't know if it's like, she was like, "This isn't going on the channel, right?" And he's like, "Oh no, it won't go on the channel. Don't worry about it." But why is it being filmed? It's very obvious that she knows it's being filmed. Like, it's not just like an unfiction thing where we needed to have it filmed because
right.
we
Yeah.
need content. It's like, I know it's being filmed, and It's so staged. Why?
And
Why
how's
is it
this is
so
another
staged?
like how does Noir have this fucking footage thing?
That's true.
Unless it was put on the channel. I mean, that's entirely possible that Peter just violated her consent and put it on the channel anyway. But because
I
we don't
totally
have
thought that was
access
going to
to
happen
it.
anyway.
Yeah.
I was going to be like, oh yeah, totally. She totally put it on the
So,
channel. Okay. They
who knows?
talk about here's Shelby Oaks,
Yes.
What are
a
you doing?
Ford Mustang, and a tree.
I don't want to be filmed right now.
No, that's
Peter,
fine.
turn it
no,
off.
I don't. Seriously, don't worry about that. It's fine. It's fine.
It's
I
just
wanted to
staging.
talk to you a little bit. I know you were a little hesitant about the whole Shelby Oaks thing.
Switch screens.
switch
Yeah,
screens.
I
Thank
don't-
you, Bobby. You're the best. I completely forget these things sometimes. God, I need to get like a stream deck for this.
I just want to know why.
Because weird stuff is happening.
Weird stuff is, yeah. I mean, yeah, which is great, right? Like we've captured a lot of stuff, a
Oh,
lot of new stuff. We're starting to get a following right now.
I
Come on.
I think that things are getting a little too weird.
Weird. How? I mean,
The school,
yeah.
Talbert, I just
Well,
think there's too much right now that I think we should take
why-
a little break.
Okay, why did you get in on this in the first
What
place?
is this,
Like,
an interrogation?
No, it's not an interrogation. I just want to know, like, why did you decide to do this? Like, be a paranormal activity investigator? Like, why did you want to do this?
Why did you want to do this?
Well, because I'm passionate about it. Because it's what we love to. I mean, we've wanted to do this since we were literally kids.
Yeah, it's fun.
Right.
I mean,
it's a lot of fun, and if we abort ship, if we just fight or flight, if we get away from all of this, right when it gets uncomfortable, when we're potentially on the verge of discovering something, then what's the point anymore? Then we've wasted our time up to this point.
Discovering what?
The unknown.
What if the unknown should be left to be unknown?
Yes, but then why did you get in on this in the first place? If our whole concept, if our whole idea was to discover the unknown, and you, when you get like just a little bit uncomfortable, like you don't want to move forward on this, then we've wasted the past months in our following. We can't take a break right now. We'll lose subscribers, we'll lose viewers, people are gonna lose interest. People think we're fucking frauds. You know? And we're not. We're not. We've seen some really cool things, and other people aren't doing what we're doing. Other people aren't. And you know why? It's because we're the only people who are brave enough to take it to the next level. We can do that. You can do that, Riley. You lead us. You are the reason. You're the reason people watch this show. People love you.
I mean,
What?
why? I mean,
Why? Is it your sister? Is your sister getting to you? Is Mia talking you out of this?
no, Mia has just been supportive this whole time.
Okay.
All of it, but
So it's coming from. I know you've been getting weird feelings, and I understand that, and like I feel
don't
scared
think
too.
you-
We all feel scared, but
no,
like that's
Peter,
the point.
Peter, you don't get it. You don't get it. There's
Then
been
explain it to me. What do I get? Just explain. What do you feel?
Okay, you really want to know?
Yeah, I really.
I don't know, just... Did I ever tell you about the night terrors I used to have? When I
I
was
think a
little.
little bit. I don't know where.
It was awful. I just... Every dream just felt like I was trapped, and I think I maybe feel things in a way other people don't. I think
Okay.
stuff might be attracted to me. And that's why we're capturing things.
So
I
you
think
think-
I could hurt you guys. If stuff keeps,
you-
you know,
Do you
being...
think you foresee these things? Like, do you see these?
I mean, it sounds so silly. I
No,
don't...
it's not. It's not silly. But then you have a gift. You're doing exactly what you're supposed to be doing.
No,
right
no,
now.
no, you're not listening. It could hurt us. It could really not be
But
good.
It hasn't hurt us. Think about it. If it's true that these things are really attracted to you, then what are you going to do with it? Are you going to run away with it, or are you going to confront it? You got to confront your fears. You have to confront your fears.
It's not fear of spiders, Peter. It's not like, oh, I'm scared of the dark. Let's put me in a dark room. This is like...
Well, if things if these things are really attracted to you, then why not catch it on camera? Why not show it to the world? Why not? It's going to happen regardless.
I mean, not necessarily.
You said you have the night terrors. You say you experience weird things all the time.
But to go out searching for it? I don't know. It just... To go out to, like...
But think about, this is what you love. I know you. I know that this is all you talk about. It is. I mean, think, it's childlike in a way. But it's you get a high from it that you can't find that in something else. You know, you can't find that
I
in
don't know.
anything
I think
else.
your high is a little different from my high. With all.
Well, that may be. But
I mean,
I just think we're so far. We are so fucking far right now to breaking through, to getting, to making a living out of discovering something extraordinary that we can bring to people. We can bring to people the unreal, the extraordinary, make them to see the things that they're closed off of, that they ignore on a day-to-day basis. Now, if you attract that, and we can bring that to the world, that's called purpose. Yes, I mean, I know it sounds fucking stupid, but or cheesy, but I mean, that's called purpose, you know? That's the reason why, I really think that is the reason why we were put on this earth.
to go ghost hunting?
Yeah. I mean, look at what we've captured. Look at what we've captured. People think we're frauds because no one else has captured on camera the things that we've discovered. Like this is, we have something special going for us here. And if we just stop right now, if we just waste all we've done so far, then why are we here? What do you want?
I mean, what's the grand finale? Like, what do you want more than what we've captured? I'm just saying.
Grand finale is death.
What else are you gonna do? I'm serious. What else are you gonna do? You're gonna take
I
a break
don't
and you're gonna
know.
do what? Are you gonna golf? You don't golf.
Are you gonna golf?
No, I mean I don't even. I've never been golfing. I don't know how to
We
golf.
could go putt putting. Putt putt's
I'll go
fun.
putt putting with
Okay.
you. Yeah, that'd be fun.
So,
That'd be fun.
we could do
But
a.
after Shelby Oaks. Come on. Come on.
So yeah.
So it seems like Shelby Oaks is the last part. Last spot.
It does appear to be that we're building up to Shelby Oaks. But the interesting thing, I think maybe more than anything for me about that is how fucking manipulative Peter is.
Oh yeah.
Like, what a
It's
piece of
definitely
shit.
you are our cash cow. Please continue to be our cash cow.
Here, let me gaslight you a little bit and try to get you to think that what you're saying doesn't really matter that much to us.
Yeah, but at the same time, we're trying to. Do people still call it putt putt, or is it another? This is from 2008 thing. I think it might be like a personal choice. I know what putt putt is. I also know what mini golfing is.
I
and
never
know
met
what,
anybody in the South who didn't call it putt putt.
I feel like it might be like a familial difference. Like, oh, if my parents called it putt-putt, I call it putt-putt, but
Sure.
I call it mini golfing because that's what my parents called it. I could ask Eli, he's from Michigan. He might have a different opinion. Do you call it putt-putt or mini golfing? He calls it both.
Well, there
So.
you go. A versatile term. Much
Putt-putt
less
or
diabolical than bubbler.
bubbler. Hey, bubbler's there's a reason for bubbler. I'm okay with the term bubbler
I
because
know. I
it's
just
a
like
brand.
to cause
It's a brand name. I'm like, you know what? People in Rhode Island also do bubbler. You call it crazy golf. Huh. Well,
crazy
the more you know.
golf. All right, that sounds like a brand
That
thing.
is some crazy golf.
I could see
sorry.
like somebody getting like the spray cheese and then spraying it in their mouth and say like, I'm going crazy golfing. Like that could have been in a Goofy movie or something. I could see that.
Oh yeah,
Some
I was
90s
thinking
shit.
of like Little Caesars commercials. They go, it's
It's
crazy good.
crazy good.
Except make it golf.
But yeah,
Make it golf.
I mean, so
But
you
definitely
get
you definitely get the Riley doesn't want to do this anymore, and then in addition to the previous one, you get the I don't want to do this anymore because I think I'm going to hurt you people because all this stuff got foresaw in my dreams when I was 13.
Mhm.
I don't know. She called them night terrors, and my psychology brain goes, "Oh, well, they're not really night terrors if they're not like night terrors are like a toddler thing, but nightmares happen at all times."
Was there kind of the weird moment where Peter says her interest in this is childlike, and it's like
It's
what the
almost,
fuck?
it's almost childlike. It's like,
This,
well, I mean, yeah, it's kind of talking down to her as
yeah,
manipulating it all in one go. It's like, this is what you want to do since you're a kid. It's like, yeah, but I have valid concerns that I feel like I might hurt you people because me and Moogle Mad were like, oh, she's a psychic, or like she's a catalyst
mm-hmm.
for psychic activities, like she can, or something like that, where it's like I can feel something happen, but I don't know what it is, sort of
Yeah.
thing.
It's really hard to like mill through this episode and like decide, well, what is earnest and what isn't, right? Because Peter kind of implies, well, I don't know. Peter's implications are all over the place. It's hard to tell whether or not Riley's responding to him trying to manipulate her, or if Riley's responding to kind of earnestly in all places. I certainly think she's not lying, strictly speaking, about anything.
No.
It doesn't seem.
I do think she's a little bit embarrassed or shamed in a way.
Yeah.
That'd be like, hey, I feel like I might hurt you guys and we should stop, but also it's quite like it's quite a silly reason looking back at it, like, oh, did you foresee these things? Like, well, not really, but I did have dreams when I was 13, and if we presume that these are college age or like 23, it's like, hey, a decade ago, I had these really vivid memories, and now those memories are coming true, and I think it's weird, and we should stop.
Yeah.
That's kind of I could imagine it being a very much like a, I don't want to tell you guys the reason, I just want you guys to stop.
It's kind of a hard sell.
Yeah.
He's not with us today, but
It's like,
there.
well, because, and Peter kept going like, well, I'm passionate about this, but you can definitely see he's passionate about it from more of a.
He thinks they're about to get big. He thinks they're about to like blow up on 2008
They're gonna blow
YouTube.
up.
Yeah.
People think that they're frauds because they're capturing things that no one else has captured, and if we leave, although I will say if we leave, we'll lose subscribers and people will forget about us. I don't think that was really a notion in 2008 YouTube, but it's definitely something that is now. Like if we lose, we'll lose subscribers and things.
Yeah.
Yeah, tromboner.
You were on it before I am.
I'm just gonna keep going. I'm just gonna keep doing it. Because I think it's funny. I really about to say this out loud on camera. That well, I will have to say Riley's acting is on point because it's definitely something that I would do. It's like, well, I don't know. Like, well, do you really want to know? Yeah. Like, well, I don't know. Well, I'm telling this to a person, to a human being.
Mm-hmm. It's the acting is so good in this one scene.
Yeah.
Like it's she really sells it. Like in this scene, regardless of how many times I watch it, I buy that what I'm viewing is real.
Yeah.
You know? And
it definitely, and like Peter's reaction of, oh, we could be big, but like we're put on this earth for passion, that's your purpose. That's why we're put on the earth, to go ghost hunting. Yes.
But it's
Like
also
very.
like I can't there's so we're getting into like the intermeshing. One, Laura completely absent. Two, David always filming Riley, and then you get this, and it's like I know David and Peter are close, but Peter, I can't imagine that Peter's desire to make money is exactly the same as David's reason for filming the way he
being.
does.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I definitely think that like when I described the friends group at when I described the friends group last week, and I was like, Riley is the girl of the group that everyone has a crush on. Laura is there. Lauren is there because she has no other friends and she wants to hang out. Uh, Peter and David both have crushes on Riley, but David more so. So that's why he's there. And Peter's like, oh, I can also go ghost hunting. Ghost hunting's kind of fun. I'm in it for the fun. But David's definitely there for Riley, it seems. Like,
They seem to be really close
ghost.
before. Like, this implies a history of them knowing each other at least since they were 13.
Yeah,
Yeah.
but that's still like, you could play. David definitely was like, ghost hunting is cool. I can film things well, but I'm also here because I want to hang out with Riley. Like, there's definitely more than a friend's connection, I think.
The gaze of the camera is like, I cannot fucking believe that the original. I'll have to pull that out if when we come back to this again, but I'll get the paper that posits the male gaze. From
Yeah.
like that's talking about golden age Hollywood and the way that the camera would cut and then eye a woman
Oh yeah.
up top to
Well,
bottom.
you can even see. I'm gonna pull out a thing from Folding Ideas. Like you look at the first 50 Shades of Grey movie, and you look at the second 50 Shades of Grey movie. And the first 50 Shades of Grey movie is directed by a woman, and the second is by a man, specifically the author's husband. But but you can definitely tell there's a difference in camera motion and what they show on screen. The woman director is not afraid of being like full fronter. Here's Dorian Gray, and also Anastasia's here, but you don't care about her. You care about Dorian Gray. Like that's what the female director did. They're like, she's there and you know what she's doing, but he's here and we're gonna focus on what he looks like. Whereas in the second movie, they focus a lot on like Dorian Gray not having a shirt on and like exercising. Like, oh, look how masculine he is. Like when we see him without a shirt when he's like doing pull-ups and stuff.
I've never seen either of these movies. That's fascinating.
You should watch the Folding Ideas videos on them. I've never seen them either, but his analysis is hilarious.
It's incredible if
like
true.
you could there's definitely a male gaze of what a man director would focus on versus a woman director. Like a man's like, oh, they want to see him shirtless and like sweaty, and the girl's like, no, just have him walking around without shoes and a shirt on. Like that's good enough.
But it's like
it's that difference in who's operating the camera.
And in this instance, it's not just that, because the camera operator, of course, in their own way, is like a part of the story. It's this very personal gaze from David upon Riley, and I think that's why it comes off as so. Like, I think that I understand in so many ways why the theory that David is noir has so much traction. And it's because it is really bizarre to watch somebody's gaze as they angle a camera knowingly at one person over and over and over again.
Now, there is something to be said overall with all the videos we've seen of Riley, either taken by David or by herself, or really by her sister.
That one's weird too. Like that, I cannot place that.
Like everyone's in on a joke. And like maybe the reason why David is always filming Riley is because Riley's the one that's spooked out, is scared of these areas. Whereas the other three are just kind of like, oh yeah, we're just walking around and doing shit. Like, look, there's an abandoned prison that we're hanging out in. But Riley's freaked out. So the reason why they're showing the camera on her is because she's the one that's producing the content of scary prison is scary, dude. And that's why like maybe Mia is, put up to film her doing this drawing of something is because like, oh well, we're gonna show crazy psychic lady drawing a creepy picture. Like, so I feel like that could be like they might be in on, not saying this is like it's a joke to them, but they're in on it together. Like, hey, we should be filming this, and that's why Peter is set up this camera, is to be like, we're documenting Riley, we're not documenting the ghost.
I think it might be time to move to the next episode because I'm very interested in what you just said once you've seen everything that is in the next episode. So let me switch over.
Is there anything else going in on Twitter? I saw like a picture of Shelby Oaks or something. Like.
Yeah. So as we're kind of moving through here, I'll show you this. So Riley puts up this image and says, "Hey, can anybody make out the text?" And I believe we have actually, yes, here it is. The Gothic Librarian, who's also in the Discord, but I believe this picture comes courtesy of everybody's favorite Bobby. This is the high res have you seen them image, and it has the phone number on it, which means if you want to call 330, what is it? The last 4 digits are 6203. It's 5 something something. I think Tromb already put it in chat.
Oh yeah, the fictional police.
Yeah, if you'd like to call the fictional police, by all means, I will sit here and wait while you call the fictional police.
Now where did they find this? Was this just like stapled up somewhere?
This is a good question. I can't remember the exact location. Yes,
Here,
Bobby posted.
Scroll up.
Shoot, Bobby. I can't remember exactly where it was posted, what location it was at, but it was found at one of the locations relevant to the series.
People on Lake Amusement Park. Okay. Coordinates.
Thanks, Bobby.
Thanks, Bobby.
Those coordinates are now immortalized forever.
Plays into the Twitch as an annotation machine.
Yes. That thing I'm writing. Yes.
If nothing, I'm nothing if not thorough.
So yeah, if you'd like to make the call, by all means.
Is there actually anything there, or does it just say this number is not in service?
No, it does. There is something there.
Okay. I don't feel like doing it.
You don't feel like doing it? Okay. No, well, all viewers who have not gotten up to speed in this ARG, if you'd like to take some time and make that phone call, I do highly recommend it. You will get a voicemail from the police in the area, and you will get the ability to leave a message. And you can leave whatever message you want. You could, I mean, realistically, maybe you keep it in the universe, but if you don't want to, then maybe you just leave a message about everybody's favorite Bobby.
Yeah.
So let me switch back over. So we get.
So if there's nothing else, I'm just making sure that I have all the Twitter understanding.
I believe you have, unless somebody points out that, hey, also somebody I think did a quality enhancement here. Looks like it didn't really work out great, but I've seen people do that sort of thing before to see if they can get.
So it's on the amusement parks.
Husband account has been tagging me in tweets with videos I don't remember being online. Some people have replied. So what is this from?
Update Twitter and wait, stop.
I don't know exact. I think this was just talking about Noir.
Okay.
I think this is an updated thread, essentially. There's a video that is made by this creator as well in that period. And then we get, oh God, they found my email. And this gets sent, presumably from Noir.
Okay.
Yes.
I love the jumbled numbers. And then is Noir posting anything, or we haven't gotten up there in the timeline?
Noir is not posting anything other than the have you seen them, I believe happens. No, it's yet. So we get the have you seen them, and then his most recent posts are from July 4th. Or rather July 11th, July 4th.
So we'll get there.
We'll get there. But yeah, so this is the next step, if you will.
Okay. So Riley's last message was message to her. Okay.
All right. So Riley's last message. I believe I'm on the right feed. So tell me if I'm
mobile game ad.
Yeah. Well, yes. What can you do?
Why don't you have an ad blocker?
Oh, by the way, we do have to. I should set one up for this series.
I'm not safe.
We are gonna have to look at some stuff from Yankee as well. So shout outs to Yankee.
Watch them.
There are no closed captions on this video, by the way.
There's eyes on me. I'm so scared.
So before you make a comment on that, I also want to quickly, I believe it was retweeted. It's probably in her tweets and replies. There is one other image you need to see so you have full context for that particular video. Here, it's not that one. There's a clearer one. See if I can find it. Where is Yankees tweet? It's somewhere around here.
Need to get the Yankee.
Might just go to his let's just plug his Twitter while we're here. Let me see. I'll just go to his Twitter. I bet I can find it from there. Yes, Yankee White. It'll be in his. It'll absolutely be in his media. It's kind of a prolific ARG player. Here it is. This is the thing you want to see. Is this video. So you may look off to the side here, and you'll see this big ass silhouette.
Okay.
Which, I mean, I have no idea what the fuck that is.
That's Riley. Okay.
And it like, look, I mean, I'll play it a little bit more so you can see it, but do you see how the head turns to the left there? Yeah, so it would have to be. The important thing in me bringing this up is just that there is something like, while it is, I think, tempting from the previous video to land on maybe they're just using Riley for clicks. That seems to suggest that no, there's some like real paranormal shit going on here. You know?
Well, it could be both. It could be somewhat both.
You're right. It could be both.
It could be that they're filming and documenting Riley because she's getting spooked, but she's actually what she is.
Yeah.
And that's why she's like, "You guys got to take this seriously." And everyone's like, "No, it's fine. We're blowing up. We're blowing up. Everything's okay. Cool." And she's like, "I don't like this." Yeah.
Yeah. So it's kind of a big episode.
Yeah, so Riley hears something spooky, or she's saying that she's scared, and then I'm not sure if it overlaid with her guitar video is meant to be like ghosts glitching the machine, or if it's like maybe an artifact if she's overwriting a tape.
Yeah, I'm not sure either. Or if it's an editing choice that was made by Noir post.
Or if it's editing thing posted by Noir. And then you can presume that they're in like a shared hotel suite or like a cabin of some sort. It definitely looks like a shared sort of thing where there's a hallway and there's multiple rooms.
There would have to be on the first floor, but it sounds like there's a staircase as well. So maybe the staircase goes down to some sub level.
I didn't hear a staircase.
You didn't hear a staircase. Maybe it's just like floorboards.
I can imagine it's just floorboards.
Gotcha.
Because if they're in like an old cabin and you're walking on floorboards, it's gonna be squeaky.
Yeah.
Although that definitely looked like cabin chic. She hears a loud noise. Everyone's really spooked. Hear loud noise. You hear a woman's yelling as well as people's yelling. And then she gets really scared, and then she opens the door, and the light goes off. She closes the door.
And there's something like dogs barking.
And there's dogs barking. I couldn't tell if they were dogs. It kind of sounded like coyotes or hyenas.
It could be coyotes.
And
actually,
coyotes are in the Midwest.
Yeah.
For those who don't know, coyotes are in the Midwest, and so are like wolves. But I don't know but they didn't really sound like a wolf frenzy sort of thing.
Yeah, it's a weird. It's kind of gets back to what we were talking about earlier. There's so many paranormal forces at play that's really hard to pinpoint exactly what's going on. We call the demon guy Big Demon Boy or BDB in the Discord. So that's. But it's also his role in this is kind of unclear because he's just watching as Riley appears to be kidnapped and maybe smothered. It's hard to tell. It sounds like she yells out a name. I think what people think is that she yells out Mia, which would make sense from what I've done some listening to it closely, and it does sound like she yells Mia. But as MuggleMad puts in the chat, there's a lot of speculation that the figure in the black jacket is David or Peter.
I definitely thought it was Peter rather than David, but who knows? It could be Robert.
Yeah,
Robert
it could also be Robert. Yeah.
Robert was Newhart the whole time. But if because it would correlate with Mia, Robert and Mia.
She's yelling for Mia, but who she's like referring to it's a little unclear. It does, like, that figure at the end, it's such a good filmmaking choice, and I don't mean to, like, in no way do I insult the film by saying, or the work by saying this. It is very unclear exactly who it is. I'm leaning towards David, but it could be that Noir is an entirely different person. We're just seeing him right there. The thing that's got me thinking it might be David is because it looks like from one of these shots you can see some specks of white in the hair, and I'm not sure if it's camera fuzz or if it's his hairline thinning. And Peter has a pretty robust, like, he doesn't seem to have a bald spot. But it really could be anybody, but it's very clearly a male figure.
Yes.
Yeah.
Definitely a male.
I do not know.
Definitely, I would think, I don't know, my brain goes to, like, what is it, Khrushchev's gun or whatever?
Chekhov's gun?
Yeah, Chekhov's gun. They mentioned Robert, so Robert must come back at some point.
Yeah, that's fair.
So my brain goes, it could be Robert, because if it was, like, Peter or David, like, thinking from, like, a thriller point of view, they could assume that you would assume that it's David or Peter because you know those two people the most. But then the twist is it's Robert. And you get that clue in with her yelling Mia.
Yeah, but it also, I mean, like, Robert and David, or rather David doesn't seem to gain anything from Riley being gone. Peter definitely doesn't seem to gain anything from Riley being gone. So, like, if this is, like, a methodical thing and not, like, something like possession, right? Because there are a lot of voices going on, so it's possible somebody's possessed or something. If it's not something like possession, it really is just somebody with a murder plot going on, and there happens to be these other figures involved. Then, I mean, it really doesn't make any sense for it to be David or Peter based on the knowledge we have. But I mean, again, all this is subject to change, and it's a super ambiguous thing because we don't even know if Riley's dead at the end of this or if she's just been kidnapped. It sounds like she's dead, but it's not clear.
From the sound of all the, I don't know, when the coyotes were going crazy, Riley may not have been the target, but she was there. Yeah. And I think she wasn't the first to be attacked. That's true. The other, we can presume from the other yelling and a female's yelling, and then the lights getting shut off and loud noises, that the other three were somehow in the same room as her. It would make sense why she would have a camera too.
I guess
the other three were in the cabin with her. And something happened to them.
Or she was with Mia, and Mia got attacked, and that's what that was. And then it's really hard.
And then she was like, "Oh no, Mia's dead."
Yeah, so she's yelling. She's not like asking for Mia to help. She's yelling because Mia's on the floor with her or something.
Yeah,
and she's crying.
Or
yeah,
it's like when I don't know, if I was yelling out someone's name, either they're on the floor and they're dying, and I'm like, "Oh no, oh shit." Or they're raising a weapon at me and I'm going, why? I'm going like, Jeff, why? Sort of
right,
thing.
Yeah.
Like, to kind of maybe snap them out of something.
And we assume that there's only one. Like, there's so many ambiguous elements, right? There could be two attackers, and so she sees Mia and goes calling for Mia, but the other attacker is there as well, which would make it think it's Robert. There's, again, I cannot stress enough that there is a large demon, and it is very unclear why the fuck there's a large demon, other than the fact that, holy shit, that demon looks really good, and it's the first clue that this is like a professional production outside of the acting.
Oh, and the sets.
And the sets, yeah.
Oh, the location.
So it's like the
They're not
third
sets,
clue,
the
really.
location. But because he's looking in her window.
Yeah.
You know.
He's clearly
She's
the man
feeling
in the
scared.
window that she's talking about, I think. Yeah.
That's the man in the window. That's the demon in the window.
Yeah. So what's interesting, she sees him as a man. I mean, certainly he's like, got a masculine torso, but it'd be interesting if in her dream she sees him as a man, because the image of the woman that she draws looks kind of half bestial, half, a woman. So perhaps it is another one of these instances.
Could be assigning a gender to it.
A gender to it, yeah.
A big person. And it's telling that the person who shows up at the end is a dude.
Yeah.
Whether it's Robert, Peter, or David, it's a dude by the window. Not the same window as the demon was in, but looking out the window this time.
With so much of this ARG being caught up in, I mean, it's really hard to ignore how much of this is talking about, like, the camera oddly focusing on Riley, to have her then assailed by a male figure outside of her room. I mean, it really does say something to kind of the anxieties that perhaps this piece is looking at. I just don't, again, we're not far enough into the game for me to like have a succinct theory about where this is going from a artistic perspective. Just interesting details that are worth noting. Resonances.
And I think what I originally thought when I started hearing whatever hound was wolf like pack creature outside, whether it be coyotes or wolves or just dogs, I totally thought it was someone getting eaten.
Oh,
I thought someone was getting thrown to the dogs, and that's why they went into like a feeding frenzy, because that's what it sounded like to me.
I could see that. That's worth
it sounded like
thinking
like
about.
A feeding frenzy.
Yeah.
And that's why they go missing and you can't find them, is because they got eaten by doggos.
Maybe. So to jump back over and kind of, because I'm running out of time, and I also want to we're very close to the end, so I just want to kind of throw this out and get to it. So between now and then, two things happen that are really important. First of all, there is Noir posts one more video on July 4th, which is, "Do you ever wonder why Riley was sick?" ? And then Jess says, "What are you implying?" And there's this short conversation about the journal and stuff like that. But more importantly, the movie is announced. And Riley then says, "So the producers of the film are bringing me out to Ohio, and while I'm excited to work with them, I also plan on doing a little investigating on my own. I'll report back once there. Thanks everyone for the help." This is on July 19th. Noir then posts, "Is this all just a game? I'm watching you."
Okay.
And that's the last contact we have gotten from Jess in a week.
Okay.
So, I want to jump over and do this last video, but I want to point out again, we kind of thought there'd be a content drop last week, and it didn't happen. So do you want to do we'll do the last video, and then we'll talk about this, I guess, a little bit about the series in full, and then we'll close it out for now. I figure we come back and do this when there's more content again, Yeah. Because, I mean, I think we're getting somewhere. I just don't know if there's enough information for us to fully pull that off right now. So here we go. Here's the last video.
Hey, guys. I know we've been getting a lot of questions as to why we haven't uploaded in a minute, and me and the guys thought it would make sense if I explained a little bit of what's going on. I've not been feeling super great, and it has a little bit to do with the last episode we uploaded, but I don't know. I mean, I guess you guys know that it's just, for everyone else, it's fun and it's cool and it's I don't know, just for me it's a little different, and I just, after things at the school, it just felt a little more real for me, and I just needed a break for a second. Yeah, I don't know. But we're still here and we still love you guys. And we're so glad that you subscribe and watch. And you know, I really don't want to let you guys down, and just want to, yeah, say that I'm so glad for everyone who watches our channel, and you guys are the best audience that we could ever have asked for, and it's really amazing. But yeah, I've just felt a little off. But we have gotten all of your requests for Helltown, but after talking with the guys, we're gonna go with our first plan of going through to Shelby Oaks first, because we got a lot of requests for them as well. And yeah, just always thanks for watching, and for your guys' concern, I'm fine. All's well. It's just, yeah, sometimes I just need a little break. But Shelby Oaks, here we come. All right, bye guys.
And that's the series.
So okay. Yeah, I don't think it looks like the previous video because the trim is all different.
Yeah, it looks like Riley's other things, I think.
Yeah, it looks like her videos in her house and like her room and things.
But it doesn't have the wood accents. Like the wood paneling accents are so unique, I feel.
Yeah, and definitely like I think it looks like the room that she was drawing, and that looks like her personal room. And I think that gets back to the, hey, I don't think we should do this anymore because Man in the Window is scary. I think Man in the Window is the main antagonist.
Mm-hmm.
There's a lot of other things going on, like them seeing other creatures and things. It could be like one of the, I don't know horror movies, but like the trope where you have the one demon and the one demon's super strong and is attracting all the other demons.
Yeah,
So
I can
she's
see that.
being haunted by one demon, and all the other demons are like, "What's
She's
going on
not the
here?
catalyst, the
Let me
demon that's
see."
following her around is, essentially.
Yeah.
I could see that. That would be interesting,
And
actually, and tie a lot of this stuff together.
yeah, so it's like there's so many entities, but he's the main one.
Mm-hmm.
Or maybe there's two. There's like a he and a she. Maybe there's a
Yeah.
man and a woman hanging out, being demon buddies.
As demons do, you know, they work in the buddy system. There's always two of them when they go to the human world.
They always go
Otherwise, they'll get
in
lost.
pairs.
Yeah, demons in pairs.
But yeah, that's definitely a thing. This was done before her final message.
Yeah, it looks like
did
this
you know
was
that
post the school and like probably about the same time. Probably Peter. It's hard to know whether this goes out and then Peter has a talk with her, or if Peter has a talk with her and then this goes out.
I feel like it might be Peter has a talk with her and then she goes, because she's like, oh, I talked to the boys and
Yeah,
we
that's fair.
decided to go to Shelby Oaks, being pressured. As well, she says the boys. He kind of leaves out Lauren.
Yeah, it's hard to know.
It'd be one
where
thing.
Laura's
Did she say boy or did she say guys?
She said I think she said the boys or the guys or something.
Well, because if she had the boys, then it specifically is David and Peter. But for me, as a Midwesterner, guys is everyone.
Right,
So
right. That makes sense.
it changes the connotation. If I said the boys, it's Peter and David. But if I said the guys, yeah.
Yeah.
But Lauren's not mentioned. Laura's kind of a non-entity.
Laura is in a weird position. I've honestly wondered whether at some point we're going to get more Laura specific content, because she's there, she's present for all this. She has witty remarks. She's an interesting character, but she is so background in this piece, and I would like to see her shine more as a character in the foreground.
Yeah. She's definitely is the friend who is hanging around because she has nothing better to do.
Yeah.
Like, I don't really believe in ghosts, and We're gonna go to spoopy places, and this is fine. Are you guys buying me coffee? Sweet.
We don't really know what her take is on this whole thing with Riley either. Like, if they're close or if they have any relationship with each other, then like you'd think she'd be trying to reach out to Riley and check in or something like that. But we don't really get any sense that that's happening.
Well, you get so from the Twitter. So when she was talking about how it got formed, like in that Q&A, it was her and Peter first, right? Or was it her and David first?
I think it's her. I think it's.
I want to say it's her and Peter, and then David and
I
Lauren
think
both
so.
wanted to come along.
I think that's right.
Or David wanted to come along, and then Lauren came. Like it was like that kind of series of events where there was two of them, and then Lauren and one of the other guys, one of the other boys, joined, and we're like, oh, we really want to go.
I think
It
was
seemed like
Lauren.
Laura got dragged. Laura was like, oh, come do this fun thing with me, and she's like, okay.
The old
But she
who's
definitely
around
was
to film with us, basically.
Yeah. And I do definitely think she's getting more spooked out as time goes on. Like you could definitely tell that she's like walking around a forest going, this is a forest. And then it kind of progresses to a getting spooked and stuff at the prison and then in elementary school.
And kind of, why are we still doing this sort of thing? Yeah.
like let's stop. Let's please stop. Let's just leave.
Could you not today? We really
Could we not?
we could do
Well,
a
she
boring
after
thing.
the elementary school thing, she's like, I'm hands up gone. Like I'm done with it.
That's also possible. Well, we know she sticks around for long enough for that Helltown security footage to include her. So if I'm right, and that footage is after Riley's last message when they go to Helltown without her, if that happens, again, I could be wrong, then that would imply that Laura's still with the group even after Riley's gone.
That's true. Well,
but if I'm wrong and that happens before Riley's last message and Riley's not with them for other reasons, then, I mean, it says nothing to the constitution of the group after Riley disappears.
Well, the last message is also, it's not clear. I think we're assuming. Did she say they were in Shelby Oaks?
She does not say that they are currently at Shelby Oaks, no. But I think there is a general assumption in the community that that's where she's at, whether or not it is where she's at. ARG communities tend to make assumptions and then we have to backtrack and go, no, we're assuming that.
We're assuming that. So it would make sense in a timeline. Like the timeline is definitely Talbert, Shed, School, or no.
Talbert prison, Shed, School. There's at least one episode
Oaks,
we don't
Helltown.
have before Talbert, I think.
Okay. Well, a few of them, like, those are the ones that we have in our timeline.
Yes.
And then the security footage is like around Helltown. So, and then Riley's not there, so you can kind of maybe think that they lost her in Shelby Oaks and then went on to Helltown, which would make sense because if Riley's not there, there's no reason to take a break. So if Peter's like, oh well, we want to continue on the show, we're going big, we get subscribers, we can make something for us, we'll just continue on without Riley.
Yeah.
And I feel like, so here's a question. So the spooky paranormal person, and if we go with my angle of they kind of think that Riley's a little bit crazy and a little bit weird, and they're kind of playing up her as the content. What if Mia comes with Robert to like section 8 her, like just take her to a mental hospital, and that's why she's not there anymore? And that's why they're okay to go to Hellstown without her? Because like if your friend died,
dark shit, Morgan. That's almost worse than what we think actually happened right now.
So so hear me out. If I was in a friends group of paranormal activity people and spooky things were happening and then my friend got killed in Shelby Oaks, I'm not going to Hellstown. That's just not something I'm doing. But if she's alive and she's been, taken to a mental hospital or something, then you're like, okay, then I can continue on.
Yeah, I guess that would make some sense. I mean,
I don't know what the community thinks, but that's fine.
No, I mean that's not like a terrible. Like the fact of the matter is that there's nothing to disprove that that's what happened. I mean, we don't know if there's a mundane thing that's going on, and it just looks bad because of the angle. And all we know is that there was definitely a demon there, and that seems to color our interpretation of what's going on. But you're right. It could be something more mundane, I think, even if, because that would be in line with the kind of themes of the series as well. I just suspect that my gut is to go with, I'm always kind of like a cut with the simplest answer kind of person with these things. And to me, the simplest answer is, because of the other context that's going around, somebody who was stalking her kidnaps or kills her. But it's also entirely possible that there is something else going on. And actually, it's 8:15 and I've kind of got to bounce anyway. This would be actually, I think, a really good place to call it.
Drop that bombshell.
Drop the bombshell and then let it go. Yeah.
What if she got sectioned?
Yeah.
It would make sense. Like me, I kind of think practicality wise. Like I do this in the D&D too. It's like, what people looking at you know you're adventurers, and so someone like a rational human being looking at Riley freaking out about stuff. Yeah, maybe she's crazy. We don't see the demon man in the window. Maybe she's crazy. Maybe we need to send her to mental health hospital to help her, and we're going to continue on our way to do the show while she's having her little episode over there.
Yeah, it would be, honestly, that would be pretty ballsy, and I would love to see that be the case, because holy shit, the things that would do for the series and the tone and everything. I mean, that would be something else.
It brings, I've never thought about it that way. It kind of brings, well, because like David's there because Riley's there, but like everyone else is pretty much like, oh, we're gonna go to these places and they're gonna be kind of spooky, but we're gonna have a nice jaunt and a nice fun laugh. Riley's not having any of it. But then like spooky things happen, but they're kind of writing them off. Like, oh, we're capturing ghosts, but they can't hurt us because they're just ghosts.
There does seem to be a little bit of that going on. Like,
yeah, and they're kind of writing it off.
Even if they acknowledge that these things are extreme, they're like, we haven't been harmed yet, and we aren't going to be harmed, is what Peter at least implies. Yeah.
Whereas Riley's like, no, we're going to be harmed.
Or this is gonna,
like I said, if I was, and the way that the rationality works in this universe, where the things, where they point out issues where they're like, oh, we shouldn't be breaking into this operating elementary school, but we should do it anyway. Like kind of the rational but still stupid thought, kind of rational thought is they're not going to go ghost hunting if one of their friends get killed in a ghost hunting adventure. Like,
or at least they're going to talk about it a lot before they do it.
They're going to talk about it. They're not going to continue. They're not going to go to Hell's Town or wherever this is, unless they're going to like pay homage or something. Who knows?
Unless they're convinced that Riley is just taking a break when she's killed.
Oh, if Mia killed her, and then Mia's like, oh, we Section 8 her. We put her in a mental hospital. Like, oh yeah, sure. If
but
Mia
you make an
or
interesting
Robert,
point, because like if you're right, then yeah, the three people, they would either, even if one of them is the person in the coat, he'd have to lie to the rest of them and say, no, she's just taking a break, we can go, and not like that makes it almost certain that for that to happen, at least one of them would have to be out of the loop. And I think that makes sense, because there's no reason for us to believe that Laura would be in the loop, even if Peter and David were both involved in this plot.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. That's interesting. Yeah. No, there's something there. And I have to call it here, but it's been really great to have you. It's been really great to go through the first part of Paranormal Paranoids with other people. I really, 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 really hope that chat has enjoyed all of this stuff. And I can promise that we will be back when there's substantial updates to the series. We will keep at this. But and hopefully by then since we've already talked about a few theories that we might bring in, hopefully by then we can actually talk about this not just in terms of what's going on, but also more intensely on its artistic merits. You know?
Yes.
Yeah, so
yeah, definitely. I'm trying to answer a question in chat. Like Section 8.
Section 8 the
is like affordable housing the projects. It's something. It's section, like you were sectioned is a phrase.
I know that you were sectioned is a phrase. I don't know what the fuck which section is.
But anyway, thank you guys. It's great to have Bobby and Moogle Mad and Tromboner in the chat.
And Mediocre from earlier,
and all that stuff.
Cheeky Little Jinx. There are a lot of people who popped in, and everybody's appreciated. Like I said, eventually we're gonna do like a full ARG show or pervasive games show more broadly called the Ludic Society. Feel free to check us out. I'll keep everybody updated as to when that's happening. I've just got to draw a lot of art to make that like and make sure the format's set up and stuff like that, and do research for it. And this is much more casual. And like I said, we will be back when there is substantial new Paranormal Paranoids content. Presumably whenever Jess gets back to us about being in fucking Ohio. I guess we could have watched the Chris Stuckman video, but I don't think that's necessary as it stands.
When I was looking at the Discord, it was kind of like, oh, some of these shots are similar to the one that the Paranormal Paranoid.
It
also,
may become necessary later.
Yeah, it's kind of like, oh, I like the idea. One of the things below, like on the 26th, it was like, oh, Jess is going to go missing, and that's going to become the ARG.
It's also possible, yeah. It's also possible that we do one of these streams, by the way, for Alex Bale's Cynical Critic stuff. That's just because, you know, you as people in the Vehemence Discord know I'm into that, and most of the time when we stream these games, it's just games that I've been recommended or I'm into. So if you and David at some point want to come along through SpongeBob theories, weird conspiracy shit, and really, really bad film criticism, that is also an ARG we could do. It's much less spooky. David might do well with it.
Oh, kitty. He's moving around.
Anyway.
But the kitty is going, so we should go. Bye, guys.
Goodbye, guys.